One of the most famous franchises of old is coming back in the form of the already confirmed movie to be in the making, the Karate Kid movie that has already been assigned a 2024 release date. And with that in mind, I think it is time for me to dive deeper into things and tell you everything I know so far regarding the upcoming movie. Enjoy! The last couple of years have shown that Cobra Kai is probably one of the best series on the Netflix streaming platform. And with 5 seasons under its belt, it is still going strong, and it doesn't seem to stop. And the success of the series has given fruit, as we are going to get yet another Karate Kid movie. The spin-off sequel series of the original 1984, The Karate Kid movie, picked up pace right from the start, and with each additional season, brought in more and more fans to the franchise. Coming out of nowhere, the world got the news that a new Karate Kid movie is already in the works at Sony Columbia Pictures. And an even stranger thing regarding the project was the official release date we got, and it being on the 7th of June in 2024. But here we are, and unfortunately, this is as far as it goes when the concrete details regarding the movie are taken into account. No stars, directors, or writers have been signed so far on the project, not ones that I know of at least. The main thing to note is that a Karate Kid is in the making, and I think that it will be enough for all the fans of the franchise who have waited long enough for one. So far, the franchise has given us 5 movies, the first one in 1984 as I mentioned before, with Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, followed by 1986's The Karate Kid Part 2, and 1989's The Karate Kid Part 3. Then there was a 4th movie that was released in 1994, and the more recent 2010's remake movie that saw both Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan take part in the project as the 2 lead characters of that movie. The people behind the Cobra Kai series have also shown their excitement about the movie, with them saying that they are all in for a movie to be made, one that will bring back the dojo that the movies from way back introduced us to, the world the upcoming movie will try to let us in. However, they, particularly co-creators of the Cobra Kai series, said that even though the release of the upcoming movie heavily depended on the success of their series, both Josh Heald and Hayden Schlossberg have yet to give a comment on the topic, outside of the fact that they have nothing to do with the movie, with the movie itself possibly not being set in the same universe as the series, despite some rumors suggesting otherwise. The reveal of the movie dropped alongside a couple of delays by Sony related to the 2 Spider-Man spin-off series, Madame Web and Kraven the Hunter, which might be a worrisome thing considering that, as I said before, no casting, setting, or plot have been given to the world up until this point. But the fact that this movie is described as the return of the original Karate Kid franchise could have been more than enough for me to hit that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, on a more serious side of things, all I wanted to say that this information alone was enough for me to see things through and tell you everything I know about the upcoming movie and everything that has been shared with the world. Sadly, this means that a continuation of Jaden Smith's movie is out of the question, with the movie now looked at as a one-and-done project. That is, if nothing changes along the lineup until the release of the new Karate Kid movie in around 18 months. Nothing concrete has been said about the movie, as there are so many details yet to be released, both about the movie itself and the theatrical release of it, as well as the people who will be working behind it. One interesting thing I stumbled upon was an interview from William Zabka himself, who indicated that a possible endgame for Cobra Kai has been talked about, and despite a 6th season not being confirmed yet, the series might be closing the entire thing throughout one more season, one that could drop over the course of 2023 or early 2024 before the movie releases, with the series itself having an impact on how things will develop over the course of the movie that would follow. And I am saying this because in the same interview, Zabka also mentioned the possible launch of a trilogy of movies. So, could this new movie be part of the supposed trilogy Zabka was talking about? Honestly, I don't know. But if that is the case, then I am all for it. Ralph Macchio also spoke of the possibility of spin-offs or prequels in the expansive so-called Miyagi-verse, with the upcoming movie being a step in that direction, and Sony looking to capitalize on the ever-growing popularity of the Cobra Kai series, in slightly different ways of course. The most logical course of action for the movie would be for it to continue the events of the series, especially given how the series tapped into the entire legacy of the Karate Kid movies, bringing back characters like Mike Barnes or even Chosen. some of the very well-known characters from the original Karate Kid franchise, as well as the likes of Jessica Andrews or even Terry Silver, and bring them to the big screen after all this time. In the last couple of years, the Netflix series became a globally popular brand. However, Sony might have decided to call their next project Karate Kid, simply because that IP is probably the better-known version of the franchise in the movie marketplace. The other avenue where Sony could look to pursue is to remake the Karate Kid, with the company looking to potentially bring back Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi to smash the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. But in reality, bring them back and set their classic underdog story in the present, which would also classify Sony's needs for the upcoming movie and the project being a return of the infamous franchise to the big screen. Looking at this from the fans' perspective, this could also be a less popular option for them. Because, let's face it, would any of the fans like to see a new actor cast as Daniel LaRusso, or even recast Pat Morita's role of Mr. Miyagi, and for it to be given to some other actor? Thus, with everything said according to my educated guess, I think it would be a bad idea overall for the upcoming movie to be a remake of the original one, with it going in a completely new direction, probably being a far better option. As for the new direction that I've mentioned before, taking place in the so-called Miyagi-verse, named after the original iconic character, Mr. Miyagi, would continue the story of the franchise so far, which would evidently steer away from a remake of any kind, but also provide the fans a combination of something old and something new, combined together. A familiar setting with a completely new story, as well as details dating back to the first Karate Kid movie from 1984. The hardest thing for the makers of the upcoming movie in this case would be to pull off the ambitious concept of constructing a follow-up, possibly unrelated to Cobra Kai, but connected just enough to the original movies, without it messing things up with the details of what the franchise was known and loved for. Whatever the case may be, the making of the upcoming movie will be largely scrutinized as more and more information makes it to the surface in the near future. But the main thing is that the movie has picked up some heat, and that enough was just what the fans needed regarding the franchise. As for the bits and pieces for the movie, you will have to wait just a bit, but not too long, since the movie has already been scheduled for a June 2024 release. So keep your eyes open for any new information coming your way. See you in the next video.